Independence, a community of rich history, of progressive thinkers, volunteers, and citizens. A community of nearly 6,000. Over the past 100 years, this community has grown from generation to generation on the foundation of a great community members who choose to be heard. Take part and become involved in the community. Be a part of building the city's next chapter. Vote November 5th to be heard and choose the next leaders of our great city. Help make our city great for tomorrow by voting today, by absentee, or November 5th. This public service message brought to you by the Independence Junior Senior High School AV Tech Club. Campaign 2013, Independence City Elections. This elections forum is a partnership of Office 112, the Independence Area Chamber of Commerce, the Buchanan County Economic Development Office, and media sponsor, the Bulletin Journal.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Welcome to the official candidate forum for the Independence City Council elections of 2013. My name is Michelle McBride, and on behalf of Office 112 with the Independence Area Chamber of Commerce, Buchanan County Economic Development, and the Independence Bulletin Journal, we are pleased to have you and each candidate with us here this evening. We are happy to host such an important event in this time in our community's progress and growth. Being a council member and/or mayor is no easy task and requires much knowledge, passion, and vision for success. These individuals behind me have shown deep interest in serving the community and the citizens of Independence. Each one of these candidates has a reason to why they are here today and seeking your vote. And along with that comes a unique and special story that each one of them holds. We ask that throughout this evening's events that you show respect to each candidate and their passion for the community by silencing any cellular devices and refraining from conversation or any other disruptive behavior. The 2013 City Council elections bring many open positions, including 4 out of the 5 awards, an at-large representative position, and a position for mayor. I will now introduce each of the candidate by name to the audience and ask that each candidate raises his or her hand when called. Please hold your applause until all have been recognized. Candidates for First Ward in alphabetical order: Mike Hayward, Jean Hermson, and Michael Linus. Candidates for Third Ward: Don Brown and Leonard Butch Hunter. Candidates for Fourth Ward: Dustin Dallenbach. Candidates for Fifth Ward: Austin Grover and Mary Kay Miller. At-large representation candidates: Richard Ingen, John Holland. And candidates for the mayor of the City of Independence: Vanita Davis and Carl Sharp. As mentioned, these candidates are here this evening because of their deep interest in serving the community and citizens of Independence, and we are happy to have each one of them here representing this evening. At this time, I would like to welcome the moderators for this evening's forum and invite them to explain the format and the rules for this forum. Please help me in welcoming Buchanan County Economic Development Executive Director Nate Clayberg and Community Advocate and Community Volunteer Joe Olson.
Thank you, Michelle. I want to first thank Independence School District for allowing us to use the facility here today. A great avenue to be in here to showcase this venue, and thank you to Travis McBride and I guess his staff of students that got our stage set up tonight. When we look at how we formatted this about a month ago, how we were going to do things, the questions that we were going to formulate, a lot of thought actually went into it. We requested questions from the community, found questions from different forums from across the country. Some we formulated our own. What you will find, there were 39 questions, and maybe some of you got a chance to see those that were out in the community or posted online. The candidates should have received those Friday or Saturday of last week, so they had a head start on at least getting an idea of the direction we're going with some of these questions. We feel that a lot of them are being asked on a neutral level. Where they take it, it's up to them in that position that they want to portray, I guess, in their political position, at least where they want to go in the community, to rally some votes or support. What we have here on index cards, we have 39 questions, and actually 37 of them are really, I guess I'll call at-large questions. There are 2 that we have pulled out that really will just target our mayor candidates, and each one each of the mayor candidates will get one of those questions. When we pull these out, each candidate will have 2 questions given to them. They'll be separate questions. We do have the right, the choice to look at a follow-up if we feel like we need to get more information out of it. But the candidates also have a chance. There are some questions that might be in a position that they don't know a lot about a subject because maybe have not been involved in city government as close as some of our incumbents have. So whether it's a pass or not, we'll see. We'll kind of go from there on the hip. Real casual conversation is what we're going to have. Again, this is a very important election in our community, as you all know. When you look at the 8 elected positions, 6 of them being voted on as we get into November. Joe?
Okay, we're going to begin with the first ward candidates. We'd like them to come forward. Mike Hayward, Gene Hermsen, and Mike Lenius. We'll start with Mike and, Mike Hayward, and each candidate will get a 60-second introduction. Each of you have a program that gives their biography or critical information about them, so you can read that. But they each get a minute to introduce themselves, then we'll go through the questions, and then they get another minute for closing. And we'll change the order a little bit so that not each person has to go first. So, Mr. Hayward, do you want to begin?
Sure, my name is Mike Hayward. I'm a lifelong resident of Independence. My parents were lifelong residents of Independence. I've been married to my wife Linda for 32 years. I have 3 sons and a granddaughter. Independence has been home to us for a long, long time. I graduated from Independence High School in 1969. I graduated from UNI in 1973 with a bachelor's degree in accounting. I've worked at MHI for over 30 years. My current position is a youth counselor supervisor. We chose to stay in Independence because of the people and the location. The people have been great. They've helped me raise my kids and helped me get raised, and this is my opportunity to give back to the community. I feel Independence has an ideal location with our close proximity to Waterloo, Cedar Rapids, and Dubuque, all reachable within an hour and 15 minutes. Within that time, we have access to multiple shopping outlets, entertainment venues, college campuses, above and beyond what is available in our community.
Okay, next, Mrs. Hermsen.
I'm Jean Hermsen. I have lived in Buchanan County most of my life. I grew up in Fairbank, graduated from IC High School. My parents were in the trucking business and owned and operated the school buses. I've been married to Merlin Hermsen for 19 years. He is retired from John Deere. We belong to St. John's Catholic Church. My 3 sons, Michael, Patrick, and David, and my 3 daughters, Kathleen, Diane, and Krista, all graduated from Independence High School. I have 13 grandchildren, 5 step-grandchildren, and 13 great-grandchildren, and 3 step-great-grandchildren. Over 8 years, I watched 2 grandchildren full-time. My work experience started in Akko and Owine. Later, for 16 years, I worked in the family aviation business, and 24 years at Walnut Grove, where I advanced from secretary to depot manager and then warehouse manager. I have 10.5 years experience on the council. My goal over the years was working for the best interest of the city and the citizens, and continue to have the city operated efficiently. I have lived here, and I'm working on the council and trying to do a good job to increase awareness of the budget and what has to be done and what needs to be done. And
okay. We got kind of a problem here because Michelle's flashing the cards and you're speaking to the audience, so I don't know how to get you. Look out of one eye over here and one of the other eye over there. Maybe you could go down in front.
It might be.
Okay, Mr. Lenius.
I think everybody has our bios and everything, so I won't go through mine. Julie and I have both been lifelong residents here, and I've always wanted to participate in city government, but because until just a year ago, most of my career I spent traveling, didn't really have the time to dedicate to doing this. And My reasons for running are simple. Especially with the new school and everything, I think we have an excellent springboard into the future for our children. Our daughter Jenny is a kindergarten teacher here, and we have 3 grandkids. We see all the things that the kids are involved with, the sports and everything. We see the things that are going on in the community. And I would just like to be a part of moving the community forward and look forward to the support of the people of the First Ward. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, sir, Ms. Hermson, you'll get the first question here. Gene, if you can describe 3 of your specific qualities and or experiences that you believe would be an asset to being on the council.
Well, my qualities would be I have a lot of patience. I will listen to the people, and I try to, if they have a concern, I try to get it handled. Sometimes it takes a while, sometimes you never get it done. I think my asset is my work experience that I've had. I've worked with employees, I've worked with budgets, and I consider myself an open person. Anybody can talk to me and I'll talk to them.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lanius, what do you see as the biggest concern of the residents in your ward?
Well, I think probably, as with everybody, you know, it all comes down to taxes and things like that. But I think from my standpoint, and what I think that the people of our ward and the people of the city would like, is really to have safe streets and to have a community that our children grow up in and want to come back to and stay in the Independence and help grow it from there.
Mr. Haywood, how would you create cooperation and respect between council members and respect for the city department heads and their employees as a council person?
Well, first of all, I think that during the hiring process, you try to get the best person available, and if you hire a good person, you don't need to micromanage them. You know, they're professionals, they're going to do their job to the best of their abilities, and I think if you show them respect and cooperation, they will turn around and do a good job for you. And if you run into a problem, you'll have to deal with that on an individual basis, but I think generally you reap what you sow. If you give people honesty and hard work, they'll give you the same thing back.
Okay, Mr. Lanius, describe some of the environmental and sustainable initiatives that you would advocate on the council.
Well, I think probably one of the things that draws as much attention as anything is the river and the dam. And there's no easy answers to it. But obviously, if you look at the people upriver and the situations down, we need to try to do something. One of the things that I would do, and I think I'd like to be part of it even if I wouldn't be elected, is Tree City USA. In my travels over the years, I've seen countries and I've seen cities that do a magnificent job of using trees and bushes and things like this for the environment. And I believe that Tree City USA would be a very important initiative for Independence.
Mr. Hayward, what would you like to accomplish as a council person in the next year and in the long term during your term? And then the third part to this question is, how would you do that?
All 3 parts in 60 seconds.
Why don't you take the first year and how you would do that?
I think the first year, there's going to be some growing pains because we're going to have a minimum of 3 new people on the council and possibly 4. And I think the process is extremely difficult, and it's going to be slow going for the new members of the council. So I think it's going to be important for the veterans to step up, be leaders, and take charge during the first year. The rest of the term, my goal for being on the council would be that we can see a big growth in the tax base, which then provides extra revenue to where we can either hold the line on taxes or do some of the extra things that kind of the frilly stuff, you know, to the trails and some of that stuff that's also needed.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Hermson, one of the city slogans is "Proud People Promoting Progress." Is that slogan relevant in your view, and why do you believe that?
Well, I think it's still relevant, and we had a contest years ago that people picked that out. And I do think that the people in the community do feel proud of their community. I'm sure they feel that there's things that could be done and probably will be done in the future. And I think the slogan's still good.
That wraps up our questions. We'll go through here again and give you a chance for some closing remarks. Mr. Haywood?
Okay, I'm all about moving independence forward. I feel that fostering the growth of our tax base is fundamental to accomplishing this goal. In order to grow, we need to employ the help of the experts we have at our disposal. That includes the Chamber of Commerce, Economic Development, our local business community, and the many and diversified talents of our local citizens. Together we can accomplish what we set our minds to. Individually, we're going to struggle. To use an analogy, if we decided we were going to buy Joe Olson a gift tonight, if we get 10 people to go in on that gift, it's going to cost $10 a piece. If I can find 25 people, it's only going to cost us $4 a piece. Now we can either get a nicer gift or we can just be less out of pocket. Bottom line is we have options. You know, the more people we get contributing into the pie. And I think that's important for independence to grow.
Thank you. Mrs. Hermson?
Well, there's a lot to be done. There's a lot that we need to go back, that we've worked on in 4 years. Go back over those goals and projects, see what we can finish up. Lost of words here.
Mr. Lanius?
I guess I believe that, again, going back to some of the things that have been done in the last few years, probably the school in particular, we have an excellent opportunity to grow the number of people coming into the community. Because I think in the end, you have a couple basic reasons why people come to a community. And one would be your school system for their kids. The other is parks and recs. If you have an excellent parks and recs, their kids get involved, you get them out of the houses, you get them really them participating, and you can see it from some of the summer sports and even the fall sports. The people that come out to participate in these are really impressive. I would also like to, I believe that there's a stronger need for a lot of respect of others during the council meetings and things, and I would like to be part of that.
Okay, thank you. First board candidates. I remember when I took speech class, one of the rules was never get the eye contact with the teacher for fear you get the first straw to give the first speech. So you got that out of the way, and now we're going to move on to the third board candidates. Don Brown and Butch Hunter. Mr. Brown, you get 60 seconds to introduce yourself.
That's kind of short for me, but I'll try to keep it in there. I'm Don Brown, and we live at 207 3rd Avenue Southwest. My wife Connie and I have lived there since 1972, and a little history is I think that's the year that Fairway built their building on that side of town, and I think Henry Funk might have been mayor that year. That's not much. But anyway, we have 3 children, David, Burdette, and Peggy, and we have 8 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren, and expecting 2 more. Connie and I have been married for 53 years. She's put up with me for 53, and I'm hoping you guys can put up with me for 4 more. So we spent 45 years in business on Main Street, so we got a little insight of what the town needs. And my wife and I have both worked on committees for the city. Right now I'm on my, I think, 10th year of being on the Planning and Zoning Committee, so I've had some experience around town. I've seen some of the problems and working with it and tried to work it out, and so I guess that's probably, I don't know how close I am. I see it, oh, time's up, okay.
When that red card goes up, that means. Okay, Mr. Hunter.
I'm Butch Hunter, and I've lived in Independence all my life. In 1968, I married my wife. We've got 3 children, and we lived in the Southwest for the last 25 years over in the Third Ward. And I've been in business for 44 years. I've run a car wash, a gas station, body shop, car lot, towing company, and I feel that with all the business experience that I've got, I'd be a pretty good candidate for the council, knowing how to save money and where to spend money and where not to.
Thank you, Butch. Butch, look at the first question. As a council person, in your view, what is the role of the city council in the local government?
Okay, well, I figure the city council is a business, basically, and they've got to control the spending, and they have to decide which projects they want to take and which aren't worth having. Basically, they just have to run the city.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Brown, what would you say is your leadership style, and how does that fit into your possible role as a council person?
Well, I like to listen to people, I like to visit with people, and I like to listen to people, and a lot of people have got a lot of good ideas, and I think we need to listen to them more and go from there. And we've been in business, and I worked for the Independence Light and Power for 15 years, so I got to know the community better through that also. But we've been on Main Street, and we've had employees, and in fact, you probably just read the paper today, but we've had one girl for 27 years, and I think that says a lot for my wife and I both. So, and if I am elected, I would like to go sit down and have coffee with all the departments, and not to micromanage them, but just to visit with them, get to know them better, and find out what they really want, because I think this is lacking in our community. So I'm about ready to get red flags, so I'll quit.
Well, you get another question on back of that, so. As a council person, in your view, what is the... Sorry, Mr. Hunter, that's your question. As a council person, in your view, what is the role of the city manager in local government?
The city manager is a person that should be running the different, how should I say it, the different companies, like the water company, the light company. They should be involved in that, and they should be doing research for grants and stuff like that to help save the city money.
Mr. Brown, as a council person, what is your view on the role of the mayor in the city of Independence, and how should that person in the mayor position be involved in day-to-day operations of the city?
I don't think he should be micromanaging the departments. He may should be in contact with them and see what's going on, and work out some problems they may have. Hopefully there isn't any, but I know there is going to be problems when you got employees and we don't always agree with. But I guess that would be my answer to that, is not to micromanage and let them do their job, and if they got a problem, then sit down as a committee to hold the whole council and work it out, instead of having maybe sometimes I feel like there's some hard feelings with one another on the council, and that's something I'd like to get rid of, and have everybody be friends. Maybe we won't agree. I know we won't always agree on the same things, but let's work them out, because there's no sense of bickering, and that's not good for anybody.
Thank you, Don. Butch, do you have any closing comments?
Well, I would say if I got elected to the Third Ward Council, I would listen to the people of my area, and I'd try to make things as the best I could for the city of Independence.
Don?
Well, yes, I'm running for Third Ward, and they'd be the people I'm representing, but we also represent the whole town, and any decision we make, whether it's for the Third Ward or whatever, is going to affect the whole town. So I think we should listen to everybody all over, and I just think that I have the ability to do that, and with our experience in business, with working with customers, and I'd like to continue that by serving on the council.
Okay, Third Ward candidates, Don Brown and Butch Hunter, thank you very much. Well, now we're going to go to Fourth Ward, Dustin Dallenbach. Dustin, you get to do the whole shoot match here of opening comments, 2 questions, and closing comments. So if you would give us 60 minutes of introduction, or 60 seconds of introduction, sorry.
You want me to talk an hour? I can try to talk an hour if you want me to. Probably put everybody to sleep right now. I'm Dustin Dallenbach. I've only been here a couple years for the City of Independence. Actually, my wife and I moved here. I can't say I've lived here my entire life, but I grew up in Arlington. Ryan Shane John, I consider him kind of a mentor for me. He's the senator for this area right now. I went through Boy Scouts, did a lot with him through the city of Arlington. I absolutely loved it. My wife and I, when we looked for houses and place to move, when I got my job for the Sheriff's Department, Independence struck us as a town that we love the culture for Independence. We love the area. We heard about the school possibly being built. It wasn't built at the time we moved here. We heard the library was built. We absolutely love it. I said, Ryan was actually the mayor of Arlington, so I did a lot with him in Arlington, and he just, the stuff he does and the stuff that he showed me, I mean, really caught to me. I love being a part of the city. So I made it our community, and I plan on raising our kids here. So.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
This question kind of gets into what you were just talking about, but from your perspective, what do you think is the reputation, or what is the reputation of Independence by those visiting our community and those living in our community?
People that live in the community here are very proud of the community. I mean, it has a good history. If you look around, you can see the streets, the main street has the old shops and stuff. They have the mill, the river. I mean, people here are proud of what they have. If people would stop here from other places, stop at a gas station, stop at restaurants or anything like that, and ask the people that are here, it just depends on the age of who you talk to. You get somebody who's older, who's been here most of their life, they can tell you the history and what they actually like about it. The younger people know what they know at the time, the school, how big they are, and everything else. I'd say I'm proud to live here. I say I don't plan on ever moving again. My family, I got a 4-year-old and 2-year-old, we're gonna raise them here, so.
Well, this next question is related to that. If elected, what will you do to improve the quality of life in Independence?
If elected,
What you feel like you can do as a council person to improve the quality of life?
I'd say Independence already had a great start. I mean, the school was amazing. I'm absolutely proud that they built this school here. I mean, our children are the future. They are what's going to keep this city alive. Like I say, the school is already the biggest thing here. I'm proud of it. for me to help out with, just get involved with the school. I mean, see what we can do to help for our children. Anything that can bring economy here, bring people here, businesses. I'd like to see some more businesses come in. We have room for growth, absolutely more room. So if we could bring more businesses here, create more jobs, it'd be outstanding.
Keep you rolling with some closing comments.
Like I said, I'm new here, but I'm going to try the best I can. I've already talked to people in my community. It's one thing I had to do was get signatures to even be on the ballot. I went and talked to as many people as I could. I want to hear their side of the story. I want to hear what they have to say, what they want to change. That's my goal. I mean, if I hear a problem, I want to know what it is, but I also want to hear both sides of it, the good, the bad, whatever. If there's something that the city's proud of and people here, I'd like to hear that so I know more and more about the community. I'm learning every day as I'm living here. So the more I can get from the people that are surrounding me, the better I'll be. So I can't wait for November for the vote to see how everything turns out. Somebody said we'll have some new seats, see how things change. I think it'll be good for us. So.
Thank you. 4th Ward candidate, Dustin Dallenbach. We're going to move to 5th Ward now. Candidates Mary Kay Miller and Austin Grover. Okay, I think we'll begin with Ms. Miller.
My name is Mary Kay Miller, and I enjoy living here in Independence. I'm a member of our First Baptist Church, and I've been a funeral home organist, and been doing that for 50 years, and a church organist. I do volunteer a lot, and I'm an Owine graduate. Also, I am a student at Hawkeye, studying nursing. And I believe I'm willing to listen to the concerns of young and old. I live in senior housing, and we shouldn't forget about our senior citizens. And we have a wonderful community, and I'm willing to serve.
Thank you. Mr. Grover?
My name's Austin Grover. I've lived in Independence for the last 3 years now. I've actually lived in and around the area for all of my life. Grew up between Raleigh and Jessup, between the two towns my entire life. I'm a 2009 graduate of the Independence High School, and I'm currently employed out at Walmart here in town. I'm more than willing to listen to any concerns that anyone in the community has, and hope that I can get elected to help all of you out with anything that you need.
Austin, you get this first question. What do you feel the biggest advantage our local businesses have for operating their business here in Independence?
I feel that our local businesses actually have a lot of benefits from operating here in Independence. We are right on the Highway 20 corridor, which means we attract business from Waterloo. We're right in between Dubuque, Waterloo, so we attract people in from there. We're right on Highway 150, so anyone coming up through Cedar Rapids to go anywhere, they stop here in town to grab anything that they need. And we have more than a surplus of businesses as far as Walmart is concerned, the gas stations in town. Everything in town is right there and right accessible off of Highway 20 or Highway 150.
Ms. Miller, part of this question too is I want to get your position on this. What can the city do to maintain and improve those advantages for keeping the businesses we have and attracting new ones from a city council's position or from your view?
I think the city council should visit each business downtown and in our industrial parks and ask, what can we do for you? And what do you need from us? There needs to be good, communication, and we need to seek more businesses.
Okay, thank you. This goes to, you get a double dip here, Mary Kay. The former Fairway building has had a controversial past. Progress has been made currently to convert it to a recreation center. In your opinion, what kind of impact will the new Rivers Edge Recreation Center have for the community of Independence? In your opinion as a council person, how important is the Parks and Rec Department as a whole in this community?
We do have an outstanding Park and Rec department, and I watched that old fairway just sit and nothing was done. And so I'm enthusiastic that I see activity there. I drove around it today, and we need to do something for our young people. I'm excited to hear, batting cages. I don't really know what a batting cage is, but I plan on going in there and seeing the activity. We can't forget about our youth because we want these young people back to put businesses in Independence.
Mr. Grover, the former high school building has been a topic of discussion with the City Council. Tell us what ideas you have for the use of this vacant building and the land it sits on. How can the city assist in your ideas?
As far as the former high school building goes, I personally have not had a lot of conversation about this topic. I know there are a lot of people who have ideas of what they would like to be done with it, and as a city council member, I would like to help out in any way that I can, but as said, as of yet, I have not really discussed that topic with too many people.
Thank you. Okay, time for closing comments. Mary Kay, you get to go first.
I would like to encourage everyone to vote on November 5th, and I would encourage people to attend our council meetings. I enjoy going, but it seems like there's not very many people out there. I know it's televised. Maybe there are a lot of people watching it on television, but we need to listen to those taxpayers. There's a wealth of knowledge out there, and they can mentor us. They've had very successful businesses. So many of these people, now I see their grandchildren running the business, which I'm so proud of. And I'm willing to help in any way I can.
Thank you. Mr. Grover.
Well, I just want to encourage people to get out and vote, much like Mary Kay said. I also want to say that if you need any help finding anything with absentee ballots or anything like that, I know Office 112 has been very encouraging about helping people out with that, so if you do need anything like that, get a hold of them, because they are very helpful with that. And then also I want to say that this community we are a community that has been looking for something to happen to us. We have been looking for something to change and bring us to a point of something new. I can't say that I have any idea what that is as of yet, but I can say that I will listen, and if anyone in this community brings a good idea to the table, I will be more than happy to speak it out and promote it to the City Council for you.
Okay, thank you. 5th Ward candidates Mary Kay Miller and Austin Grover. We're going to move on now to at-large candidates Richard Engen and John Holland. Mr. Engen, you get to go first with your introductory comments.
Okay. My introductory comment first is my actions this evening. I argued with myself all afternoon. I have a bad situation with my back and my legs. And it got worse. I was in rehabilitation for over a month. And I told myself this afternoon, you shouldn't go. You're just going to be a nuisance. And then I thought, I owe it to people, that I told them I would be here, and a lot of people have helped me get ready for it. One fellow went out and signed up my names for me, and they just wouldn't give me any rest on, I wanted to quit, and every time I said that, it just didn't come out right. I'm not a quitter. But anyway, that's part of the action tonight. I just, I've never had such good treatment from anybody. I came here in 1959 from UNI. I was a student teacher, and they hired me back. And I was here, except for 1 year. Stop. I was on my way to Ames. I shouldn't have put that other stuff in. I'm done.
You can continue in your closing remarks.
Yeah.
Mr. Holland.
That's a good idea. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just checking. Hi, I'm John Holland. I'm seeking re-election for City Council at large. I'm also a very serious volunteer. I've been involved in many activities, all with the intended purpose of bettering our city, such as the backpack program, First Presbyterian Church member, Chancellor Choir member, Absolutely Indy, Indigo Healthy, New Resident Incentive Program, Independence Rubik's, Independence High School Alumni Association, and Class of 65. Buchanan County Four Seasons Trail Association, Friend of the Chamber, 2007 RAGBRAI Overnight Town, 2009 Fly Iowa, and our annual Independence Day celebration. I'm intensely aware of my town and improving our quality of life. My belief in this city is strengthened and sustained through volunteerism. As your representative, I've worked on Phase 1 of First Street Curb and Sidewalk Project, a project not yet finished. Was involved in the selection of our airport engineering firm, was involved in the selection of our current fixed-based operator and airport manager, and working with 5 citizens on dramatic changes in pedestrian awareness and bicycle safety. And there's yet more to be done.
Thank you, John. John, you get the first question here. 85% of business growth we'll see in our community, and mostly in any community, will come from our existing businesses. In your opinion, what are the city's challenges for retaining and attracting business in Independence?
Well, part of it has to do, or a lot of it has to do with the workforce that we currently are short of. I went to an interesting seminar a couple of weeks ago in Dubuque regarding training and getting our youth or folks trained, or manpower trained, et cetera, to be, and then present them to businesses as opposed to going out there and seeking the business and then trying to offer up the working people.
Thank you, John. Mr. Engen, what challenges do you see the Independence city government facing in the next year, and how should the city council address those challenges?
Well, you know, it depends on how long you've been on the council. I've been on 12 years. And the obstacles to me are the things that we're not getting done, or not deciding on. One being the school, you know, what to do with it. The Aqua Center, I call it. Those types of things to me are problems, not in and of themselves, but what are we doing with it? And what are we doing to get it better? And there's some personnel things that I don't want to get into, but and not by name, but some things we need to do to deliver the goods better to the people that vote. And I don't think we do that well enough yet, and it's nobody's fault but our own. So 15 seconds, I could do a world of good with that. Thank you.
Mr. Holland, what are your views on the importance of visibility in the community as a council person?
Extremely important. One should be out and about all over town as much as possible and involved in as much as possible, primarily because you're establishing relationships and trust when you do that, and people can walk up and ask you just about any question that they feel need to, or lodge a complaint or what have you. But definitely face-to-face daily is mandatory for this kind of work.
Thank you. Mr. Engen, 16% of the Independence population is considered young professionals. What ideas do you have that the city can implement to retain this segment of the population in Independence and to attract additional people in this age group to our town?
Yeah, those might be addressed by the same answer. I don't know. I think it's jobs, jobs, jobs. You know, I think that's the big thing that we need to keep people here. We could easily fall into being a bedroom community, you know, where people live here because it's easy to get someplace else. And you can't discourage that, but we've got to give people some incentive, you know, to look around. Our housing program at the city council has helped, trying to get homes, you know, renovated, and they've got to have a place to live to attract I think that would be my main, that's fine.
Thank you. Mr.
I'll
Holland?
give you 15 minutes.
Mr. Holland, a minute for a closing comment.
Well, there is much to do, many tasks to complete, to work, and to begin. City roads in need of repair and replacement, revision of our outdated updating those comprehensive plan, updating those community goals and aspirations for community development. Starting with our fiscal year 2015 budget, extra attention to be required because of recent changes in property taxes. Taking Independence to a much higher pedestrian and bicycle safety awareness. Moving forward on the Aquatic Center, and while I'm on this topic, I want to offer high praise to the committee that's working this, very hardworking group of citizens. Council has taken some wrong turns in the recent years. We've wasted time, hours, working stuff imagined or with little or no thought. We have found our way back to the path each time, reestablishing and continuing our march on the broad-minded, non-judgmental, progressive road. Government moves slow enough, we do not need to waste valuable time. As a retired person, I feel I have been paying myself to be a volunteer, and handsomely, of course, and certainly in my service to you. The 2014 Council needs to begin its work with open minds, apply positive energy to help our city to be the best it can be, one that people look at, visit, and talk about with pride and respect.
At-large candidates, Richard Ingen and John Holland. Oh, sorry, Mr. Ingen, closing comments. I just cut you off the first time, and yes, you get a little extra time.
You promised me. I'm going to start out by saying something dumb as a candidate. I think John is a hell of a volunteer for the community. 5 of these people I had in school, and I'm proud of all of them. But I coached, just to go back to that thing I didn't get done. I've been here since 1959, except for 1 year. I was called up to Ames, Iowa by George Duval to help him install an offense in basketball. I've coached for a long time, loved it. It would have kept me in this business. I probably should have stayed in this business. I went to work for ISEA for 20 years, and I've bargained so many contracts, been in so many mediations and arbitrations, a couple hundred. And I've got a lot of experience in personnel work, and I think that's where I can make a contribution. Hopefully I'll walk better next time. I apologize to John too for kind of pulling this away, but am I done? Okay. Thank you.
Now, at-large candidates, John Holland and Richard Ingen. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to the mayoral candidates, Bonnie Davis and Carl Scharf. We're adding a third question to the candidates in this race. So we will begin with opening comments by Ms. Davis.
Thank you. I actually launched my campaign back in June because I really felt that we needed some changes made and that I could make a difference. And so in my introduction on my website, I started out that a lot of people do know me as Bonnie Davis, but you'll see on the ballot Bonita Davis, which is my birth name. Some of you may, as a parent, grandparent, Sunday school teacher, mentor, volunteer, employer, employee, or an elected official, I believe we teach and lead by setting a good example. I have always tried to be honest, open, fair, and treat others with respect. I have been willing to listen and take other people's opinions and ideas in considering and making decisions. I can't tell what color that is, I'm sorry. I have the experience, knowledge, personality, and energy to do this, to lead this great community on a progressive journey, and hope that I will get your vote on November 5th. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Scharf.
I'm Carl Scharf, former city council member, now current mayor. I'm a lifelong resident of Buchanan County and a longtime resident of Independence. I took office in January 2010. Along with this responsibility, I assumed the position as city manager for 3 months. My credentials for this position include my education, military experience, work-life experience, business experience, community skills, and present experience as mayor. I graduated from Jefferson High School near Independence in 1968. Then I attended Ellsworth Junior College in Iowa Falls. Later in life, I returned to college. I attended Upper Iowa University in Fayette, Iowa, where I received Bachelor's of Science in Psychology and Human Services. I graduated from both studies summa cum laude with a 4-point grade point average. I also attended graduate school at UNI for 2 years, seeking a master's degree in Youth and Human Service Administration. I proudly served 6 years in the Army, Iowa National Guard as platoon leader with the 133rd Infantry Unit in Owine, Iowa. I have various types of work experience, from farm life to my recent job as a grant writer. I've had over 30 years of experience in management and supervision positions. I've taught martial arts for over 40 years, achieved the rank of 9th degree black belt, and prestigious title as Grand Master. I'm one of 9 in the world in this. Hello. Thank you.
This question goes to Mayor Scharf. About a quarter of our population in Independence is of school age or younger. How do you foster the development of these young citizens in this community? You know, through the help of city government.
Well, I think we need to take a more basic stance with junior achievement and those programs like that. Come into the schools. A lot of the times the education that we give the children are educational, not really necessarily for the skills of life. Come with the assets we have for the city, and I want to listen to them. I come and talk to the students here one day a couple years ago, and I loved it. I spent 2 hours with them. I listened to them, I heard what they want, and somebody just brought it up a little while ago, more jobs, more technical jobs. They don't want to travel, expense, and everything. I understand that. We want to keep them here too. We want to keep that tax revenue coming. So therefore, I want to entertain the thoughts. I want to know what they want. And if they will tell me, we will be there. It's going to take time. We've got some innovations going, but therefore entertainment too, we got to give them something to do. And this beautiful school here is one thing for sure that will keep them coming, I hope, and coming back and bringing their children. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. Bonnie, the Independence Airport has been a topic for council discussion, especially lately. What ideas do you have for this city asset as it relates to the future of the airport in Independence?
Well, number one, I'm hoping that we do not allow our current manager of the airport to leave. He is a very talented young man and has a lot of good skills, a lot of good ideas for the airport. And we don't want to lose any talented people and entrepreneurs. That's the backbone of our community, and we need to keep them in any capacity we can. So I see it could be a good growth, and if we work together, some of the council people have some good ideas of how we can do that, and I agree with that.
Mayor Scharf, how would you describe your management style, and how does that fit into your role as the city's highest elected official?
My management style comes back from my life of experience. I've been a hands-on manager. Through my years, I've been a service manager. 4 years, I won only the Best Club Chevrolet Award. 50 out of 50, only 50 of the United States get that award. I got to go to Australia, Hong Kong, and other places. But I take the management and the leadership depends on the situation. I'm adaptable. I don't think you can be just one style of leader in management. You've got to be able to create where it needs to be. In my martial arts, my military, you have to be a strong leader. More so in this type of life, it's a perceptive, you have to be part of it. Ask the team members, ask them for advice, yet you've got to make the decisions to lead them. The transformational, that's another type of leadership and management where you ask the questions. But as a leader, you've got to take a stand. Sometimes it's not right, sometimes it's not wrong. But as a manager, you do the things right. Thank you.
You can finish your sentence.
As a leader, you do the right thing.
Mrs. Davis, conflicts are inevitable. How do you resolve conflicts, or how would you suggest resolving conflicts amongst your council and in the community?
Well, actually, in running B&D services, I had over 60 plus employees when I sold the company, and naturally when you have a lot of people working together, especially a lot of women, sorry ladies, you do have a lot of conflicts. I always encourage them to try to settle it themselves first, to try to work it out and come to a consensus and decision. If that was not possible, then we would sit down together, all three of us, and come to a decision at that point. I think that if we listen to each other and have part of your conversation, 60% of it should be listening, not all talking, and everybody have the goal of making a settlement and making an agreement and working out together and teamwork, then it can be solved.
Thank you, Bonnie. To clarify, the 39 questions we had before we started tonight, we shuffled the deck, if you will, so they were pretty random. You may see us shuffle some around. For example, there was a back-to-back existing business question that we felt like was too similar, so we may have put that back in the deck so we didn't have to answer the same question twice, I guess. Ms. Davis, if you were to ask a random person from our audience tonight what kind of person you are, what would you like them to say about you?
Well, I can't tell out there because they're in the shadow and we're in the light. I have a lot of friends. I'm involved in a lot of organizations. I have an avid volunteer, and so I'm in the community scene a lot. Lately, you've seen me in a lime green shirt with my logo on the back, and you've also seen some of my relatives. My grandkids have vote for my grandma, and a lot of my Red Hat friends have them to vote for my Red Hat sister. I'm very visible in this community, and I do that not just because of this campaign, but that's been my life ever since I've been here. This is my home, even though I wasn't born here. It's still my home. It always will be, as far as I'm concerned. My family is here. My grandkids are here. And so hopefully they tell you how much fun I have, and that I'm serious and honest, and they can believe whatever I tell them, because they know I wouldn't be wrong to them.
Mr. Mayor, what do you feel the council has done, I guess we'll say in the past 4 years, that you feel like you think can do differently or even could do better?
Well, I think we could all do things differently and better, because now we got the 2020 look, as we all know. I'm very proud of the council. Sometimes I think we haven't taken enough time to study things as we should. We rush in sometimes too, it's just we're all eager. And sometimes that's not the right thing to do. We need to take more time, more studies, more research. I know sometimes we have timelines and we have to get right to them, we will get to those. But some of those other permanent, imperative things that we need to do take the time, and we need to take more time. And as we discuss them, we need to talk. And when I say talk, not bicker, but talk with each other. And I know we're not always going to agree, we need to agree to disagree. But when these situations come up, feel free to call a councilman, talk down to them. There's no reason why we can't talk with each other. Work with our committees, put input, and as you're part of the council, don't try to be the leader of the council. You're part of the council, you're all equal. Thank you.
Well, we have a little more time, so we've tacked on a fourth question. Put the pressure on here. So this is the final question for Ms. Davis. What is the single greatest challenge facing independence today, and why do you think that?
I think our greatest challenge right now is to get a positive view of our city. I think that there's a lot of people look at us on a negative basis, or some of the things that we have done in the past. We have so many assets in this community. We have so many things to be proud of, starting with the library, when everybody worked together to get that, and the school system, and the airport, and our organizations, and the volunteer system that we have is ultimate. And we need to build on those things, and we need to continue to have a positive attitude and all growing to make the community grow. And I think, like Mike Hayward said, the pot needs to have more people put money into it, and that makes it less for each one of us. So the only way we're going to grow is to work together, take advantage of the assets we have, and look at things on a positive way instead of negative.
Okay, Mayor Scharf, the fourth question for you. In your opinion, what has the biggest economic impact on our local economy, and how can the city work to nurture this economic quality?
Well, obviously it's our business industry. To me, years ago when I was a kid growing up, it was MHI. They employed the most people within the community. But since then, we've had other people that have come in with manufacturing. We keep helping them, watching them expand. That's the impact of the economy. But what's behind that is the people. The people that work there, the people that shop here, the people that come here, the people that live here. So we need to offer them a reason to come here and offer them a reason to stay. So the impact to me boils down to people. We need to educate them that Independence is a great place to live. Our Board of Economic Development, Nate, does a great job out there. He promotes our city, he promotes our county, and keep doing that and keep bringing them here. And we want to retain them. We want to retain them. So we want something that would keep them here. Ask them, what is it we can do for you? Thank you.
Okay, it's time for closing comments. Mrs. Davis, you get a minute to close things out.
Okay. As getting prepared for tonight, I was looking at some of my things from when I ran for 5th Ward Council and had some cards out. And on that, I promised honesty, respect, and dedication, common sense decision-making, and a voice for the growth of Independence, and that has not changed. I will do everything I can to meet your needs, and with consideration of every other member of this community, and whenever possible, I will even listen to your wants. I hope that we can accept to agree to disagree and still be able to come to a consensus for the good of the whole community. I will make decisions on your behalf based on the information available and not on personalities of the individuals involved. I want to see our community continue to grow, and I believe it is possible with a positive attitude and with strong leaders willing to work together to achieve forward-moving goals. I do not promise perfection, but will strive to come as close to it as I humanly possibly can. There is a comprehensive plan that we're doing, and I think we need input from the community, and there is a survey to be able to fill out for that purpose.
Mayor Scharf.
To use the words of Karen Carpenter, we've only just begun. We have a long way to go, but with patience and understanding and your support, we'll get there. I have accomplished many things as your mayor, and I plan to stay active and be within the city and the administration. One of the things I've done, I was in Ernesto Maldonado, you all used it coming in here tonight, that turning lane out there. I'm the chair of the RTA, which is Regional Transportation Authority. I helped get that. That was 100,000 matching funds. I was really instrumental in that myself. I always said this, and I will say it again. I do not care if you frequent the country club or the food pantry. I treat everybody the same. My slogan is healing the past, enhancing the present, while preparing for the future. I have taken steps to prepare problems with our county, we've had in the past with the school, and enhancing, as we do today, in other words, projects. We've got projects ongoing and completed. I still continue to do that. I make sure the city of Independence is solvent as we are now and we build in the future. Please remember, I do not represent any particular person or particular group. I only represent one extremely special group of people, and that is you fine citizens of Independence. Thank you.
Okay, mayoral candidates Bonita Davis and Carl Scharf. I think we're actually ahead of schedule. That's pretty good, eh? Mrs. McBride has a few closing comments.
Thank you, Nate and Joe. Also, thank you, candidates, so much for coming this evening. We know you took time out of your already very busy schedules, and we know you have a lot of committees and activities you're involved in. It's not easy to get up on this stage and present your ideas to many individuals throughout the community of Independence. You all have special ideas, and like I said before, you all have a special story. And I believe that all of you are up here for a reason. That reason is that you have so much passion in the community of Independence. So again, I want to give a round of applause to our candidates who took the time to come and talk with you all this evening. So thank you so much. We also want to thank Bland's Flower Shop. They did donate this evening the nice decor you see on the stage. Also want to thank the Independence Junior Senior High School and the auditorium facilitator Travis McBride and his students. We also want to thank our guest moderator Joe Olson with us this evening. And we want to thank Print Express for helping us out with the programs. We do know that it is an important election as there are so many seats open, and November 5th is a very important day to go out to the polls. In your programs, you will find the different ward sections. If you're not sure which ward you live in, or if you're on the line, that map will be there to show you where those different wards lie. There's also information in your programs about the polling locations across the community and for those specific wards, as well as information about absentee ballots. If you do go on the chamber website at indycommerce.com, you will find information about these candidates, the biographies that you heard tonight, what wards they represent, and also how to fill out or apply for an absentee ballot if that's what you wish to do. Tonight's forum will also be on the public access channel at some soon date, hopefully yet this week, if not into next week, but definitely before the elections. We will also have it streamed on a YouTube type website, if not YouTube itself. So check the papers, Facebook, websites, and word of mouth for all of those announcements as well. We want to encourage you and our candidates to stay around for a little bit afterwards to meet and greet. If you would like to talk personally to the candidates or a candidate in your ward, mayor positions, or at large, please feel free to do so, and please feel free to stay around if you do have time in your schedule and wish to do so. So again, I want to thank everyone so much for coming, and for you all for having such a vested interest within your community, and again to our candidates for taking time to inform the community on what you can do for them as a whole. So thank you, and good luck November 5th. Remember to vote.
Campaign 2013 Independence City Elections. This elections forum is a partnership of Office 112, the Independence Area Chamber of Commerce, the Buchanan County Economic Development Office, and media sponsor, the Bulletin Journal.